Chernobyl, a name linked with the worst nuclear disaster in human history, happened early morning on April 26, 1986. 4 decades later, it still holds a strange beauty mix of death, neglect, and rebirth. It's not just an abandoned ghost city, but a mysterious land full of unbelievable stories. Vegetable oils, which are naturally pressed from seeds and fruits like soybeans, sunflowers, sesame, and olives, simply do not contain cholesterol. In simple terms, advertising vegetable oil as cholesterol-free is like selling a bottle of water and labeling it as alcohol-free. It sounds impressive, but it's an obvious truth. The only exception is when the oil is made from animal-derived ingredients, such as butter oil, because it is made from dairy, or refined animal fats which contain cholesterol. But these types are rare in the market and usually not grouped with the common vegetable oils you buy in supermarkets. This means that if you buy any bottle of vegetable oil, whether premium or budget, expensive or cheap, whether labeled or not, it definitely cannot contain cholesterol. So why do brands still include this phrase? This is a classic marketing tactic targeting consumer psychology. For a long time, people have heard a lot about the dangers of cholesterol. But what is it exactly that makes it so scary? Cholesterol is actually a special type of fat found in the blood and in the membranes of all the cells in the body. Just the word fat often makes people think of something harmful, but in reality, it's very important for life. The body uses cholesterol to build cell membranes. It acts like armor protecting the cells, while also producing important substances that help make vitamin D when exposed to sunlight and generate bile to digest fats. Without cholesterol, humans might not survive. In fact, our liver can produce up to 70 to 80% of the cholesterol needed, with only a small portion coming from food. So why is cholesterol so hated? The problem does not lie in cholesterol itself, but in how it moves through the blood. Cholesterol cannot swim on its own in the bloodstream. It hitches a ride on particles called lipoproteins, often known as bad cholesterol. These are like trucks transporting cholesterol from the liver throughout the body. If there are too many of these, the excess cholesterol sticks to blood vessel walls, forming plaques that narrow the vessels, making blood flow difficult and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. People fear cholesterol because it is linked to heart disease, the leading cause of death worldwide. Moreover, for decades, media, advertisements, and public health campaigns have repeatedly emphasized that cholesterol is a silent killer, causing its image in the public eye to be consistently negative. Therefore, when consumers see the cholesterol-free label prominently displayed on packaging, they feel reassured, believing the product is heart-healthy, and are ready to choose it over another product without that label, even though in reality, both are the same. This is a form of redundant advertising that states an always true fact to create a special impression. This trick helps the brand score points in the few seconds customers stand in front of the shelf, and can even make buyers believe they are choosing a healthier product, although there is no real difference. This raises another question. At what depth are submarine cables laid on the seabed or loose in the ocean like fishing nets that sharks accidentally bump into and bite? Here we have 2 zones. The first is shallow water, meaning near the shore. There, fiber cables are usually placed at depths from several tens of meters up to a few hundred meters. Going back in time before the 1980s, you would see no sign of industrial cooking oils in Vietnamese kitchens. From lowlands to highlands, poor to rich households, cooking fat was almost exclusively lard. People would slaughter pigs, eat the meat right away, render the fat to get lard oil, and use pork cracklings as a side for rice or as pastry filling. It was delicious. A little lard could turn a plate of water spinach or sweet potato leaves into an aromatic dish. Or hot rice with lard was filling too. Lard was also a precious energy source because, in times of scarcity, eating a lot of fat helped stave off hunger and keep the body warm in cold seasons. In rural areas, children could tell their mother was preparing a proper meal just by the scent of fried pork cracklings with shallots. Lard not only nourished a generation, but is also tied to warm family memories in Vietnam. But things began to change when Western studies from the 1960s to 1980s concluded that saturated fat, abundant in animal fat, increases bad cholesterol, as previously mentioned, leading to heart disease. Media, television, and healthcare sectors in many countries continuously emphasized that consuming a lot of animal fat is unhealthy. Public health campaigns exploded, encouraging people to cut back on fats and switch to vegetable oils. In Vietnam, from the late 1980s to early 1990s, cooking oils began to appear more frequently on shelves. Oil companies seized the opportunity to launch colorful advertisements. These were golden bottles shining brightly, featuring images of smiling families around tables full of stir-fried and fried dishes, with the phrase cholesterol-free printed in very large letters. This message hit directly on the consumer's fear of cholesterol. And although the scientific truth is that all vegetable oils naturally lack cholesterol, few people knew this at the time, and cooking oils quickly dominated kitchens, pushing lard from its throne to become the heart enemy. Moving into the 2010s, with the rise of social media and Google, the narrative reversed. Movements for clean eating and green living emerged. Many started to doubt industrial cooking oils. They claimed that refined oils undergo multiple chemical processes, are bleached and deodorized, and when fried at high temperatures, they easily oxidize, producing harmful compounds. Videos on social media showing frying with lard with golden, shiny food appeared alongside captions such as "Our grandparents ate lard all their lives and lived healthily into their 80s and 90s without problems." Immediately, the lard faction rose, seeing this as a revival of traditional ingredients. Naturally, the cooking oil faction wouldn't back down. They counterattacked with videos simulating clogged arteries from saturated fat consumption and presented research proving vegetable oils are better for heart health. Fiery debates erupted right in comment sections, ranging from arguments that lard tastes better or that oil is the scientific standard, to "eat whatever you want, life is short, enjoy it." Each side brought their own advisors, institutes, studies, articles, and even online doctors. Supporters of lard argue that it has been wrongfully accused for decades. They point out that lard contains about 40 to 45% saturated fat, but also has a significant portion of monounsaturated fats, which are heart-healthy, similar to those found in olive oil. Lard even contains a small amount of polyunsaturated fatty acids and vitamins D and E. Another advantage is its high smoke point, roughly from 100 to 200 degrees Celsius, meaning lard withstands heat well without breaking down, especially when frying at very high temperatures. Traditional lard, sourced from naturally raised pigs free of antibiotics and not industrially refined, preserves its original flavor. For this group, lard is not just an ingredient, but the soul of Vietnamese cuisine. On the other hand, supporters of cooking oil assert that vegetable oils, rich in polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, help reduce the risk of atherosclerosis. High-quality vegetable oils, when used properly, are not only safe, but also support health. Islamic culture has made significant contributions in philosophy, science, medicine, and the arts, especially during the Middle Ages, when Muslim scholars translated and preserved ancient Greek knowledge. Thank you for your interest in following this story, the story of Islam. If you found this interesting, you can click subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If lard comes from clean pigs and is used moderately, it's a tasty and safe ingredient. If vegetable oil is cold-pressed, minimally refined, and used at proper temperatures, it is very good for the heart as well. Conversely, if lard comes from industrially raised pigs, or the oil is poorly refined or reused many times, both cause harm equally. The cooking oil versus lard debate on social media will certainly continue, even right under these comments, because it's not just a scientific matter, but also a cultural and nostalgic story. Lard evokes childhood memories of traditional Lunar New Year meals, filled with the fragrant smell of pork cracklings with fried shallots, while cooking oil represents modern convenience and a healthy lifestyle of the new era. The ultimate winner is the one who knows balance, use oil for salads and light stir-fries, use lard for high-heat frying, and most importantly, don't overuse, either because, as our grandparents said, even medicine becomes poison when taken in excess. The same goes for oil or lard. Using just enough is the true king of the kitchen. Thank you for taking an interest in this story. Which side do you belong to? Please leave your opinion in the comments below. If you found it interesting, you can subscribe to World Story Plus, enable notifications, and share. For now, we say goodbye.